Sri Lanka's most powerful news brand.
The cabinet paper that we have been discussing last week is coming to the forefront again this Tuesday, and it's going to be presented for cabinet approval. The cabinet approval for two 600 megawatt coal power plants that is using the clean coal technology is what has been promised in the paper. Now, when it comes to the clean coal technology, there is a lobby group for coal in Japan called J-Coal. Now, they have put forward a system or the requisites, the requirements for a power plant to have clean coal technology. The power plant that we currently have in Norochole is called a subcritical power plant. Now, if you are to move into the clean coal technology, you need a power plant that consists of these technologies. That is, the ultra supercritical or the advanced ultra supercritical coal power plants are required if we are to go into the clean coal technology. And Arundhati, as you can imagine, these coal power plants are extremely expensive. And now, Arundhati, I am going to continue this problem here when it comes to all of this. If we are to construct an advanced ultra supercritical coal power plant in the country, I am going to tell you the facts and figures here obtained from the J-Coal lobby group. The value stands at $2.5 billion US. If you are to go into a normal natural gas power plant, that would only cost the country 660 million USD, Arundhati.
Now, Chaturanga, tell me, how much will a natural gas plant cost to Sri Lanka?
Yes, in addition to the 660 million rupees, if you're going into this sort of a power plant, it will cost about 2.5 billion USD. But the natural gas power plant would only cost us 660 million USD. And when it comes to this clean coal, any coal power plant is not going to be 100% clean. This will have an environmental impact. This will have various other issues surrounding it. And it is expensive, and this is not cheap. And we remember how people around Norochole had a protest a few months back, and they took the dust from their gardens at their homes and showed it to the general public and said, this is what we are going through. That same problem is going to go on if we go into another coal power plant, even if it's the ultra supercritical. But the problem here is the generation plan has been put forward by the Ceylon Electricity Board. This generation plan does not mention an ultra supercritical power plant or an advanced ultra supercritical coal power plant. They only speak of a supercritical coal power plant, and that coal power plant will not be able to have this clean coal technology that they are speaking of, because this is coming from the providers of the Japan, is the people who tested and checked this out, the clean coal technology, and they are saying if we are to have clean coal, you need these two categories of a coal power plant, and a super critical power plant will not be able to get that going. And if you ask me, will there be a reduction in the CO2 emissions? Now the government as a plan has put forward and said we are going to construct an area, a buffer zone, and put up trees, cultivate trees in that area. But will that work out? This will not work out, because if we are to put up trees in the complete 600 acres that has been allocated for the coal power plant, the trees will only be able to bear up the CO2 emission for just 3 days. Experts opine that you will need 18,000 hectares a year to be cultivated if they are to absorb the complete emission of CO2 from these power plants that are to be constructed. So are these practical answers to the problems that we have at hand? And the decision makers, are they not aware of what's going on in the country? They are aware, and they are trying to turn a blind eye to whatever is happening. They know what is happening, and they decide not to, because obviously these methods, coal power plants, are advantageous to a lot of people who are not considering about the people of this country, who are not considering about the environmental impact these coal power plants have. And this will go on. People like LTL and other private electricity suppliers will benefit from this once we go into spot purchasing, when places like Norochole fail, as we have seen in the past. Now, when it comes to these matters, we knew that when the coal controversy took place, the Secretary to the Ministry of Power and Energy was highly criticized. Now, when you take a look at this, it seems like the minister is also aware and the minister is not doing anything, because we can see that this cabinet paper has been put forward by the minister as well. And why is the minister not doing anything? We have seen a government policy saying, look, we are going to go into a green economy and we are imposing carbon emission taxes on the people, and the government is deciding once again to put up coal power plants. What is this contradiction in policies when it comes to the coal sector? And who is driving the government, or who is pressurizing the government to actually go into coal power plants? Is it the secretary to the ministry? Is it the minister himself? Is it the trade unions, the engineers in the CB? Who is trying to do this is a big question. Now, when we go forward, we will see that this will come into the cabinet minister's approval on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday. Will it receive the approval? And if it does, to what extent are we going to put our people at risk in a guise of generating electricity for the country? And who is driving the government to that position is a question. We've seen a number of situations where decisions are taken to the benefit of the people. When the government officials are trying to absorb money to themselves through various commission methods and various other methods, if they draw their attention properly to the problems that we have in our country, then people like this, our farmers in the country, will not be burdened in this manner, or they'll not have to go through hardships in this manner. Let's have a look.
20,000 acres of paddy fields are cultivated with water from the Rajangani reservoir. The area includes 64 farmers' organizations. After 3 seasons of drought rendered their crops useless, the farmers began tilling the soil for the Maha season with many hopes and aspirations. However, when the time came to apply the first round of fertilizer, all 64 farmers' organizations received a single truckload of fertilizer. Farmers question whether the obvious fact that this amount is insufficient needs to be pointed out to the relevant authorities.
One lorry of fertilizer is not enough for even one farmer organization.
Traders say that they too have been affected as a result of the fertilizer shortage. Farmers in the Ampara district, the largest rice-producing district in the country, have also been affected by the shortage. C.H. Kumar, the president of the Uhana Bedum Ala Farmers Organization, bears testament to the troubles faced by his community. Our father uses the money he earns from farming to pay for our education. We want to study well and advance, but because the farming livelihood has broken down, we are unable to meet our aspirations. Both our son and daughter are sitting for their advanced level examinations. If we cannot cultivate this season too, we will be ruined.
We don't have enough fertilizer. They are not providing us with the basic facilities we need to cultivate. It is very disheartening. I plead with them, the rulers of our country, not to force farmers to this state.